So I really hate all this paint that is on my stringer. That's what I found out. This is called stringer, and then there's a molding above it. I don't like also that it's like a traditional molding, which is like rounded and the line in between. These things tend to build up lots of dirt and dust. But I think what's most is just that it looks really shoddy. And so I peeled off some of the, I didn't realize that some of this was caulking. But you can see it's like really, really nasty and dirty. See how it piles up over here? And then there's the scab, so you can see the original. I think this is one piece. It's not like it's sitting on it or sitting in between it. This is just a solid piece of wood. My house is originally from 1930s, and they used real molding back then. And look at this caked on paint. It's so thick that I'm able to peel it off. And this is probably this beige paint from another time. I'm peeling it off. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't even know what's beneath this. It's just, this is satisfying in a way because I've hated this since I've moved into my house. I moved into my house in 2008, and we renovated most of the house, but we just did not want to tackle this part. Oh my God, look at that. I'm almost tempted to keep this. But this looks like a veneer. Like this part is a veneer, and so this is MDF, so I shouldn't feel bad if I fuck it up. Excuse me. Okay, I'll edit that out. But if I mess it up, because I just, oh my God, look at all this caked on paint that I've been hating for so long. I can't believe it's coming off. See, look at this. And the risers also, I don't even, like I thought like maybe I should strip it, like strip it of the paint because it's so thick. It's disgusting. It's really well and truly disgusting. Like I hate the way it looks. Look at it, just this caked on feeling. I'm using the knife. I mean originally, like, so there was caulking over here, which I did not realize that's why it looks messy, or just this is caulking right here, and there's more caulk. See how it's all cracked and crap. It's just really, really gross. And I was gonna save this for another time. I was gonna do a different project before I tackle this one, because this one seems overwhelming. Because there's so much parts of the stairs that I hate. So we put in the risers and the treads way back when, and I don't love carpet, so I don't want to do that. And I had a painter come 5 years ago, and you could see that there's tiny bits of paint splatter here, so he did a terrible job. That's paint. All of the white dots that you see are tiny bits of paint spatter. And then we broke this step. My son, one of them, he hops on stairs. So like he goes down and he's like a little horsey. So he hops down. So maybe under his weight, it broke. But this is not paint. This is the dust from what I just peeled off. But you could see actually, this is paint. This circular mark, white, 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 that's all paint. So now, and there's nicks too. There's nicks in here, look. See, that's all kinds of holes and nicks. And I've been watching a lot of DIY videos. And basically, I need to sand this down quite a bit. And once I see all the holes, then I would fill them up with some wood filler, resand, and then stain again. And I thought this looked pretty good. I had painted the railing black, so that was nice. And then I didn't know that I could stain the steps black. And I think if I went to all this work of sanding the treads and, you know, and getting them to look like perfect, I'm not going to restain it brown if I can restain it black. I want my house to look a bit more modern, which is why I've hated this molding for so long. And over here, I'm really like analyzing like what it would take to get this to a level that I would like. This is the right side, and this is, I have this like mirror, not mirror, sorry, glass. But look, this is what it looks like. So this is the original side piece, and it looks like there's another piece over here right above it. Right here is another piece of wood, and then there's this thin layer, thin wood, which is that I painted. But I'm thinking like, look at this gap over here at the top where it turns. Look at that messy glob. That's just disgusting. It shouldn't look like that. It doesn't look refined. It doesn't look nice at all. And then I hate this molding up here. Oh, let me move back. I'm zoomed in too much. There's this traditional molding. It's been here since I moved in. We never touched it. So I hate all of that. I want it all squared away to look modern, like this railing. This railing is modern, so, or it's squared off, so that looks nice. Just need to get rid of all of these little moldings everywhere. It's just gross. Gross, gross, gross. And I painted this. I'm afraid though, if I remove this molding, this top layer, is that what's holding this piece of wood in place that holds the glass piece. So here's the upper layer. There's where I was peeling before. This is the upper layer. So you can see it's just really gross, caked on dust. It goes in. I don't even know if it's dust. Yeah, it is dust. It's dust that, you know, just seeps in. And then I hate this top piece. This top piece just doesn't fit. It doesn't look right. I even started to hate this molding, which is on the baseboards of my hallway. I think we did put them in, and I clean the baseboards every like 2 months or something. Ugh, all these lines just are very traditional and icky, and I want to modernize that as well. But for the job of the stairs, I would have to figure out how to remove all of this, sand all of these, and, you know, and make sure that there's no more nicks. And, you know, like here, you can even see that almost every step has damage just from time, I guess. And my son dragged something down, and look at this. It's all damaged, the treads all around it. I mean, I would love to figure out how to square this off. I don't know if that's possible. I'd have to try to find more videos on DIY about squaring these things off. I wouldn't mind a square edge on the tread or the nose of the tread. I find the square looks more modern, so I would love that. But I just think like all removal of this molding and even removal of this is a little bit overwhelming to me, because like what would I find once I remove this? And then if I remove this, is it holding this piece of glass? But this is a big mess. This just looks terrible. I don't like the way that the lines meet. It's not seamless. I don't understand how high-end homes make their houses look seamless. So I need to figure that out. So I know it's really unnecessary for me to peel this if I plan on taking off this piece of wood, because I just don't like the style. I don't know even if I need a piece of molding here. Like, why can't it just be cleaned? Like, if this was clean and it was squared off, and if it's clean, like, why is that not enough? Is there like a gap behind it or under it? I don't know. Once I remove this piece of wood, I will know. But there is something inexplicably satisfying about peeling it, simply because it's like peeling, you know, like a sunburn on skin, or peeling nail polish off of your fingers. I'm pulling this piece over here. This is caulking though. I don't know why they would put caulking in the crack. That's just so stupid. The paint has gotten stained from this color of the wood, and there's a big piece of caulking. Like, all of this is caulking. This is caulking that's holding these two together. So I do think I need to peel the caulking, because the caulking is working as an adhesive besides filling in the gaps, it's working as an adhesive between the two pieces. So I think I will have a harder time removing it, you know, from the wall. But there is something incredibly satisfying about peeling this. I don't think I'll peel the whole thing. I just want to peel some of it, just for the satisfaction of it. Just so I can see the edging. So here's some of the edging. I just peel it off all the way to the wall. I don't even see any nails. I wonder how did they glue it on? Oh, that's gonna be a big mess. I just hate this so much. It's been here for so long. You know, when you like start ignoring something that you hate and it's been there forever, and you just ignore it because the job is too overwhelming. And I guess now I'm tackling this because I started this, and now it's going to be like this big mess on my staircase. So I have to deal with what I started. I didn't want to start this because, but I think I need to get one of those special crowbar things to remove this piece off the wall. So I need to do that. And then I don't know if I should just try to keep on stripping this. I mean, because it is coming off. This paint comes off. I could try. I love using my Klein tools. This is a new little baby toy that I just got for myself. Really fun. I bought it for like $20-something on Amazon. It was really a great little tool. I'll show you like the whole scraper mechanism. There's a scraper mechanism that's built in. But I can't hold the phone and videotape myself at the same time. Anyway, okay. No wonder why I've always hated it. This is all disgusting caulking from years and years ago that was painted on, and then you have these drips and drabs of paint, and it's just all not smooth. I don't know why there's a hole here. There was a hole up there as well. I'm not really sure what that means. And then look how messy it is over here, and that joint over there, and look at the dripped on paint over there. There's a reason why I hate this. It's so disgusting. And my stairs are actually nice. Like the wood oak is actually nice. Okay, I couldn't stop myself. I had to dig at it, and there is a significant gap here, which is why they put all that caulking. I don't know why the gap exists. Like, why couldn't they put the molding directly onto this piece of wood so that this big gap doesn't exist? Regardless, all of this was peeled by hand. Look at that. All of it was peeled by hand. The only thing I used was my little box cutter, and just to cut out some of the caulking. So this is all caulking right there, caulking. And then once I peeled that off, all of this comes out. Like all of it, just peeled with my hand. I didn't get a stripper. I didn't get anything. I don't even know. I'm gonna Google what kind of paint peels. Like, is this an oil-based paint that is peeling like this? I don't think the paints that I use now, that I buy from Home Depot or Benjamin Moore, I don't think any of it peels like this. Is it because it's caked on like so much paint? Look at that. Look at that big piece that I just, all of it was peeled. And all in, like, I've been sitting here for like, I don't know, half an hour. I just couldn't stop myself. I couldn't stop myself. Look at that. It's just, ugh. And now I need to get some sort of, I don't even think I'm going to go to Home Depot to try to pull this piece off. I'm just so unhappy with it. The way it looks, it's not like I'm ever going to keep this. This is not some design that I like. I mean, this looks like MDF with some sort of veneer paint on it. I don't know. I really don't know. All I know is I hate it. That's it. All I know is I can't stand it. It's so disgusting. I have a wedgie thingy with a hammer. I'm gonna give it a try. To use my wedgie thingy, which is not that sharp, with the hammer, just to get that off. I still don't know what to do with the sides, because I'm like, I don't think this is real wood. So I feel like if I put stripper on it, like paint stripper, just to get the paint off, that might be a problem. I might think I just need to sand it off. I don't know. Haven't decided. But it's, look at the mess that I created. Okay. So this is what I have. I'm going to try to wedge it in here. I don't know if that's going to work. And then I'm going to hammer it off. I don't think that's going to work. I don't know. Oh, that's so satisfying. Look at that. I did do that. I got under the paint and peeled it off. Okay, I'm going to try that. It's working. So you see that, oh, big pieces coming off. But I was able to wedge that in and leverage myself. I just need to do the whole entire thing with the hammer. I was able to see some sort of movement with this molding. So I'll let you know. Okay, I managed to remove this molding from this wall. I tried to get this one out, but with all the glue and caulking that's here, it's not possible. I did find out that there's this piece of cheap wood that was placed here on top of whatever that is. That's got to go. And I always thought it was weird that it jotted out. See, like there's the molding and this is jotting out. Whereas over here it was kind of flowing. Anyway, this is what I found once I removed part of the molding. It is real wood. Okay, not that it matters because I'm still ripping it off. So I started this project because I hate the molding, but there was caked on paint and you can easily see that I can just peel it off because it's so thick. The paint even peels off over here. Took me about better part of a half hour just to peel it off, and I didn't really need to peel it off. I just wanted to because I couldn't control myself and I made this gigantic mess. So it all started because this one step had been broken and we replaced the step and I needed to restain the steps. But then I watched a whole bunch of DIY shows and realized that there's other parts of my stairs that I absolutely abhor. One of them is this molding that I cannot stand. I don't like the way it looks, the old look. And I don't know if you can see over there, you can see how thick the paint is and it's not done right. And even the stringers, that's what the side of the stairs is called. It's caked on paint and it's just disgusting. Anyway, I managed to pull off by sheer will half of the molding over here. So, and then you could see what is behind it and there's a gigantic gap. And then there's it's concrete as well as original plaster. My house is from 1930. I had to go all the way down to the base, and this is what's at the base. This is also disgusting, you know, that I've discovered. So there's this cheap piece of very thin wood right here. Not really sure what's behind it. I think this is a solid piece of wood that they put originally. My treads do not go in the steps. There's some sort of box under my treads and they sit on the box. They don't really quite go in this piece of wood. So that's definitely a piece of wood, and I guess this is wood too, now that I've discovered, but it's been painted on quite a bit. I don't even know how. It's yellow. It's yellow. Where am I? It's yellow, and then there's like a wood color, and this chips off as well. It's just very, very odd. The wood color chips off, the yellow beneath it chips off. All of this peels away like that did. It peeled away. See, look. See it? It just peels off. I'm not quite sure if I need stripper to strip the rest of the paint from the stringers off. I just know I hate the way it looks caked on. So it started with that single step that needs to be refinished, and then after watching a couple of DIYs, I realized I need to refinish the steps because there's all kinds of nicks along the line. Right here there's nicks, and there's even nicks on the staircase after years of usage. Maybe that's why people put, you know, carpet runners. You know, carpet runner would cover it up. I'm just not sure I love that look. I've also painted the banister black. See, I painted it black. So now it's black and brown. I didn't think that looked bad until I watched a whole bunch of videos. And now I see that they do have a black stain. So maybe if I refinish the risers of all the steps, I'm sorry, not the risers, the treads, if I have to try and remove some of these holes by sanding it down a bit, I might just restain all the steps black. But this is quite disgusting. So this is what old houses look like. This is plaster. It's not sheetrock, and it's on top of what looks like cement. I think I would feel better if I put some sort of compounding here. I'm not sure. I'm going to consult with a contractor friend of mine and see what he recommends, or if I should just put a piece of wood and cover it and make it like I never saw it. Anyway, so I managed to pull off a small piece over here, and then I found this in my toolbox, and I think this was the piece that I needed to buy. It kind of looks like a crowbar, so I'm going to try this to remove the rest of the wood. So this is getting a better grip on it and pushing it away from the nail that's holding it. So there is one piece of nail right there. So I didn't at first think that there was nails because I couldn't find the nail on the outside of the, I couldn't see it. So I thought like, wow, did they just glue this in? But it is nailed. So I'm just going to keep prying it off one by one. I don't know. The other nail was right here, and then there was one at the base. So I'm thinking that they've gone like almost 2 feet with the nails. So I'm just going to keep doing the grunt work of trying to pull this off. So I know I wasted a lot of time, probably more than half an hour, peeling and removing this is all corking down here. See, I pulled that off. I just have a peeling obsession. So I peeled this off, and I also showed how the paint comes off this way because it's caked on and it's disgusting. I also kind of was a bad girl over there. I peeled the wall, and it looks like it's happening over here too. Look at that, it's one piece coming off, and it's just awful. So I probably have to sand down whatever edges I've created with the paint. This is just awful. I just can't help myself. Anyway, so I didn't do the rest of it. I didn't peel it. So I jammed it in, and it is coming out. So I'm just going to pull it off. I'm not going to waste any more time peeling or doing anything like that, even though it's just so tempting. Sorry, I have that obsession. Anyway, so I'm just going to remove the rest of it, and let's show you how it goes. And this crowbar is working amazingly well. I was able to pull off the other piece and then I just used my strength to pull it off. So here I am doing the same thing here, and I'm just like, okay, so now I've got like one end of it in. So I'm just going to pull, which is the reason why the paint is coming off the way it is, because I'm just pulling it. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but this is just grossing me out that all this paint is coming off this way, that it's such a thick layer of paint. It's just, it bothers me, like, ugh, I can't stand it. And this is probably another layer of paint too. Like this yellow, that was probably some original, is that wood? Hold on, is that wood? It looks like this is wood. So are you telling me this is all wood? I'm so confused. I'm gonna have to get a contractor friend of mine to look at this. Like, did they put wood? I'm so free. I'm really, really confused. It looks like wood over there. Like this looks like, oh, here's the camera. Where is it? See, look, that looks like wood. that looks like a wood grain to me behind this. So I don't understand how that's possible. This is a fairly large wall. Look, it goes all the way up. It's like, you know, 2 stories high. This is crazy. Oh my God. I don't know if I'm creating a bigger problem here that I'm peeling this. Honestly, it's terrible. But look at it. All of this is like, and I also, part of me also wonders if this is like lead paint because it's so old and it's caked on. So that doesn't look like wood. This looks like wood, but not this. All right, let me just focus on getting this piece of molding off. So I hacked at the paint over here to crack it open so that I don't pull off more paint than I already did, like I did over there and over there, because I think I'm making a bigger problem there. Not sure. So I got this piece broken. This is another reason why I hated this molding, is because of this corner piece. Looks like they used 2 pieces here, and they did a horrible job of combining them. This was not me. I don't even know if we probably painted it over, but we couldn't do anything because of all this caulking here. This is all caulking. Look how paint comes off. It's the reason why I couldn't stop myself from peeling it. It comes off so easily, like this paint. It's just really awful. That's the reason why I hate it. I hate it, I hate it, hate it. I hate it because this paint is disgusting. It's just, look at this layers and layers of paint that just, you're peeling it off and it's just disgusting. It's so easy. It's satisfying to peel it off, which is why I spent half an hour doing that. But the better half, I did not peel it, and I can't help myself. Anyway, I know some people are getting some satisfaction. I know this, because I feel so much satisfaction when I'm peeling it. Anyway, I probably have to sand this off. For the parts of the paint that I don't know if I can peel it off, I might need to get some paint stripper. I'm not sure. But look how easily it comes off. Oh, there's Geronimo. I really don't care about the stairs because I know I have to sand them off anyway. So, oh look, this screw is still in here. I gotta get that out. But I gotta remove this part. This is I hate this piece. So this looks like a column corner piece. I hate that, and I hate this. Or maybe let me just get rid of the molding. Maybe this is not as, I just think that it sticks out, and I don't think it belongs there. Maybe if my molding was this high on the other side, that would be fine. And I hate this molding too. It's very traditional. We did put it in, so it was installed in 2008. But I hate all of the traditional lines, and I like the new molding that just looks like a big square plank or rectangular plank, like so 1 inch by 6 inch planks. This should be easy. That would be another project to do after the staircase. So I have all this molding here and here that I absolutely hate, and it goes all the way around, and even you can see that it's painted beige versus white. It's never been updated. I hate all of the molding, all of it. It should be completely flat and squared off. So I already removed some of the molding here, and I removed some of the molding there, and I'm working my way through to remove this top piece. I don't believe it's holding the railing. There's a small piece here as a trim. I don't think that's doing anything. I think this is what's holding the railing. So here's using my little hammer. So I'm removing this first. This is debatable. But right now I just want to square everything off and remove it, since I already did the stairs and removed all of that. Next step is to strip all the paint, because the paint is like layered on. I mean, there's like 5, 6, 7 coats of paint here, and see how bumpy it looks? It looks really, really bumpy and gross. So that needs to be fixed. And this needs to be addressed as well. This little corner here, don't love any of it. Not really even sure how I would fix it. This is too wide. This piece is too wide. It's sticking out like 1/8 of a centimeter. That's one problem. Yeah, all of it's a problem. Okay, that's where we're. Okay, so now I'm ready to remove this part. Look at it. Look at how damaged this paint job is, the crudiness of it. No wonder I've hated it without even noticing it. I'm gonna have a bit of a problem. Might need to get my son because I am way too short. And I removed all this part. I removed it all. I know, it looks kind of disgusting right now. Here's all the dirt. Yeah, I'm terrible. Okay. All right, but anyway, I can't wait to remove this piece. It's so disgusting. So I am peeling this paint. It comes off very easily. I've already peeled all of that. And I did sand some of this wood off. The wood is really poor quality. I don't know if you could see it breaking up over here. It's just really, really bad. And I figured I'm going to compound this area. This is where I had the molding to the left side of the staircase. So here you can see me, I'm just scraping up. I just feel like even though I'm compounding it, I feel like it's really bad that the paint is coming off this easily. See, and there's like all these ridges. I know the compound would cover that because I'm going to put like a layer, right? I'm going to put like some sort of thickness. But I figured whatever I can peel off with the scraper, I should peel off. Look, most of it came off. Like all of this came off. All of this came off. All of it. See how it comes off like that? It's just really, really bad. I also peeled off all of this area. So look, you can even see it's coming up. So I feel like if I put compound on there, I just feel like that's really, really not. And look, see, look at this piece. It just needs to come off. I don't think that's really good. But you see how easily it's coming off? So I'm just going to peel off as much of the paint as possible before I start compounding. See all that broken wood? Look at that. It's just awful. I mean, I would replace this wood if it wasn't for the fact that this banister here is glued on or screwed in somewhere. I don't see even how it's connected. So unless I want to change the banister, I don't want to get rid of this piece of wood. It's just annoying. So I'm just going to compound it. And there's also a lip here that covers this top part. There's a lip, so I need to compound it. I wonder if I can put like a piece of sheetrock. You know what? That's not a bad idea. Then it wouldn't matter about the paint at all, because I would just put a sheetrock. So I think this is like maybe, I don't know if that's like a 1/4 inch. I'd have to measure. Anyway, but in the meantime, this is like really satisfying. There's something about it that's just really, you know, like I really like it. Here we go. See? Oh, okay. Okay, so that's what it used to look like before. That's the piece of cheap wood. I decided I was going to remove it. And here's the railing. There's a piece that it's being attached to, which is this middle. And this is what's under the cheap wood. Cheap wood was not doing anything. And I'm even realizing that this wood is also decorative. So this piece was here. And then there was another piece of cheap wood, which is garbage wood. Seriously, garbage wood. And it looks like it was painted. This is the paint from the old. So this is completely decorative. But it's not structural. I would love everything to look flush, like flush with the stringer. That's the way it should be. So I had decided to remove this piece of wood, which was over this, and decided to put a piece of drywall, because of this trim, which is, there's about 1/2 inch there, so I could put a 1/2 inch drywall. But it's going to be like what this was doing, or that garbage piece of wood that's over there. It was sticking out past the drywall. Right now, the drywall and the wood is flush. So if I remove this and I put drywall to make it flush with the stringer, that would work better. So I would just remove this top piece and put drywall inset to line up with this piece of wood. So maybe do not remove this piece of wood because it is lining up flush. But remove this entire rectangular piece. I'm talking it out. Okay. Also, there was like all this debris, lots and lots of debris. And I'm currently like removing the debris. This is what it looks like cleaned out. So there's no debris over here. Even this ugly piece of wood was not even inset correctly because there was pieces of rock like this holding it from letting it go in correctly. I'm just worried that if I do remove, maybe it is holding something. But I could easily cut this out, put the drywall inside, and then everything would be flush with the stairs the way it should be to have a cleaner look. I think that's the goal. Like this, I realize, okay, so over here, this is flush right here. This piece of wood is flush with this one. However, down here, this is inset, and it's got like a centimeter there where it's got like a lip. That's not accurate. That's not the way it's supposed to be. It's wrong. It's driving me crazy. But that means ripping this all out, putting in a new piece, or maybe somehow cutting this. But I don't think I can cut it straight, like with my new multi-tool, which by the way was fabulous. Love my multi-tool. I did sand this off, and this kind of feels smooth. It doesn't look it, but it kind of feels smooth. And I haven't even gone in to put the wood filler where there's gaps and holes and stuff. But there's still problems like here. See? There's a crack right there. So it looks like 2 pieces of wood are here that made up this old stringer. And then for anyone who's curious, see there's a hole at the top. So, and there's like, see that little indentation? So I Googled it to find out why there's an indentation in every location. So apparently that's where they attach it to the side with some sort of screw, and then they fill it up with a filler. So it's every single, so some of it is flush and some of it is not. Like this one is flush, so that was good. Whoever did this one did a good job. But then other ones have shrank, and then there's like a little cavity. So this is a little bit of a cavity. It's like a little bit sunken in. I don't know if you could see that. Anyway, I know this is probably going to be a long ass video. So I managed to get the H piece of wood. There was a piece coming down here and another long piece. It's really nailed in. They used like 4-inch nails to go through the tile and through the construction plaster. I had to shave it off with the multi-tool. And it looks like I'm probably gonna have to do that to this and possibly this as well, because this is firmly in place. It's not budging at all. Like I could pull on it, not moving at all. I don't know where it's nailed in. And even then, it's nailed in a lot. So I'm gonna continue working on it. I don't know about this piece too, because my logic is that if I'm gonna replace everything with sheetrock, and this is just wood, sheetrock looks, or drywall looks so much nicer painted than wood. I just don't like, so I want to replace everything as uniformly as possible. I think that's the word. And also all of this is loose, like all of this old plaster. So I don't feel that there's a point to keeping that at all. I might put a solid piece of wood just as a thickener so that the drywall is flush with the stringer over here. But I don't feel the need to keep this because this is not secure. This is not balanced. I don't want to put drywall and then have this crap under it not being secure, because I want to secure the drywall to something solid. So I might put a piece of solid plywood at least across this way, just as a backing, because once I remove this, I mean, look at this. This is coming up, right? Big pieces. Once I remove this like that, I think we're talking about an inch of thickness that I would need. Probably this, maybe an inch and a half. I don't know. I'll have to measure afterwards. But drywall, even the thickest one, I think is like 3/4 of an inch. If I do that, it'll be completely recessed and it will not be flush with the stringer. So the whole point of removing all of this old wood is to have everything nice and clean and flush with the stringer. So to get that, I need to remove everything behind it that is not structural or part of the house in its original format. This is just purely decorative pieces of wood that was here, possibly from like 1930s, you know, original to the house. And this is definitely from the time that the house was built, 1930s. Oh, look at that. I think it's a bug. I think so. That looks, I know. Oh no, it's not a bug. Look like a bug. It's wood with garbage on it. See, there we go. So, so this is all just falling off. This should never have been left on, in my opinion. It's not even a lot to remove. It's nothing much. It's just dirt. It's just plaster and dirt, and I don't think it's structurally doing anything. I will ask my contractor friend's husband if that's the case, because I don't think this is... I think maybe this was the original wall. The plaster was the original wall, and this was painted. This, see, it's the original was white, and then it was painted this awful taupey green color. So that might have been the original wall, and this piece of wood that was placed over it was possibly after, you know, extensive cracking, because this is a hallway. I'm sure at some point kids ran up and down this, and this has probably loosened all of this up. Okay, I'm a storyteller. Okay. But anyway, still not necessary. This is not structurally sound. Even this piece, I think I showed it to you before, is not structurally sound. This is all, see, look, it's loosey-goosey. I don't know what the heck that belonged to. I think once I remove this, you'll find that this has no purpose in sight. See how it's all loose? But I think I need to just loosen up all of that. So I'll keep you posted with updated videos so you see my progress. Okay, so I've removed most of the bottom of the H molding that was firmly in place. Like, it's not loose, not even a little bit. So I had to cut out the piece of wood, as I said before, and then I finally got one piece loose and I just pulled and yanked. All of the plaster over here was very loose, and I just took off the loose pieces. This is still in place. If I wanted to break it up, I'd probably have to hit it with a hammer. So my question to my friend's partner is, should I finish this off? Because now it's uneven. I was planning on possibly putting in a piece of wood as a filler, because now the gap is easily more than an inch. It's probably 2 inches. So my base in removing all of this was so that I could put a piece of nice fat drywall on this wall, and it could be flush with the stringers on this side of the stairs. Like, I plan on even removing this piece of wood. I just want it all nice and smooth drywall. I don't want wood and drywall, or wood and other parts of wood that are parts and pieces that I have to constantly bond to make it smooth, and then paint, and then it's going to peel. I don't know. Regardless, I want to work with drywall. That seems to be a lot easier, and it'll give a nice smooth finish to go with the stringer. So I think I need to remove this. I just want to confirm that I should remove this. That's all. And somehow I'm going to get the piece on top removed as well. And then whatever's under it should be should be, well, this is like a, it looks like this is a post. So this is what's holding up the second floor. And I don't know why there's a gazillion nails over here. I don't get it. Maybe there's a piece of wood that's holding up the glass. Maybe. I don't know. That looks, and these nails look new. I mean, they're hitting empty space. They're not hitting, well, they hit something before the empty space, but yeah. And there was 4-inch nails that were holding this in place. Went through this, and then there was like another 2.5 inches after that. So that's the reason why the H molding was not budging, and I had to cut out a piece. And I may have to cut this into pieces to get it to off the wall. And then all of this extra plaster, because I don't see the point of this plaster. I think this was the previous wall, but obviously when it started cracking, they covered it up with molding, and then they covered it up again with the second piece of garbage wood. So it's been covered up 3 times. So I'm gonna bring it down to the base. This is the original of the house. Probably have to put some sort of filler. So you tell me what can work as a filler, maybe plywood, or should I put 2 layers of sheetrock? I don't know. You tell me. You tell me, George, what should I do? Okay, so I managed to take off the piece of molding wood that was nailed in very firmly into this with gigantic nails. As you can see, some of the nails are still sticking out, and I have to press them down to at least get them out of the line of walking where you might get scratched. So I was able to, so I'm very short, I'm only 5 feet tall, and so I went to the 3rd step, so you can see I'm really short, and I could barely reach, this is on the 3rd step, but I managed to put the crowbar in between this wood and the wood that was there, and I removed it, and I'm glad that I'm taping this after 10 minutes, because the expletives that came out of my mouth when I removed the old wood to see the same nonsense that I saw over here. Yeah, I don't like looking at this old nasty wood. And if I put something on top of it, you can see that it will stick out beyond the wall, so it won't be flush. So I have the same problem that I had here, which is I want the sheetrock or the drywall to be flush with the wall. So that means I can't put anything on top of this. That means this too must come off. I don't know if you can see how many bloody nails there are in there. And I don't even know how they got the nails on the other side, because the other side is a wall. It's a floor and a wall. Like, this is the floor. What you see here on the staircase is the 2nd floor and the ceiling of the 1st floor. So this is that space in between. So that's what this is. The beams are going across the house, holding up the 2nd floor. This is obviously what was the old decorative, and they painted on it, and it was disgusting, and it's even more disgusting now. It was disgusting 30 years ago, maybe. We found a nickel, and it was dated 1981, so 45 years ago. This is from 45 years ago. That's my guess. But I was cursing up a bloody stream, because now I have to remove this as well. Okay, so here we're at. So I ended up removing all of the plaster that was on the wall, because it created this uneven flat surface, right? So it's an uneven surface. I had removed the plaster from here, but not from there. So now I removed all of it so that I'm working with the same level. What I installed over here were these white panels that I had from IKEA. They're MDF, which is fine. It saved me money from going to buying plywood. I still have quite the thickness that I need to fill. So I have this amount over here and this amount over here. It might be the same amount. I'm not sure. But I think the thickest sheetrock which I have is 5/8, and that still leaves me with a gap. So I don't know if I need another filler, maybe shims. I don't like the idea of shims. I like the idea of everything being leveled. The only plaster that I left was this one, because that looks very, very solid. And then I took my multi-tool and I cut it straight, because I knew I would want to have the piece of wood, this one, go straight across So I wanted it to all line up. I had to put extra screws here to, this kind of, like when I screwed this in, this kind of jotted out. So I needed to make sure that this was, it should be, everything should be somewhat leveled and flat. Okay, so I'm going to start. So I love this handy dandy little vacuum. It picks up most of the small particles. It's actually pretty strong. And after I do this, I'm going to wipe it down with a cloth. And the next step for me is to put the wood filler on the stairs, as well as any holes that are in the stringers. This is the progress I've made so far. Again, so the wood is really nailed in very, very hard. And the only way I found to remove those woods are by cutting the nails. And so I use the multi-tool to cut the nail. And here I am at this height. I'm on the third step. And you can see I can barely reach up over there. So if I have the handheld, I can jimmy it up. And the handheld is about a little bit more than a foot high. And I'm on my tippy toes. So it's quite the strain on me to actually try and do this on my own. But I do it. And you can see I cut the nail. Let me see if you can see it. Nah, you can't see it. But I cut the nail on the left side, and now I have to cut the middle, and there's probably another one at the other end. Anyway, okay, so that's where we're at. And the sheetrock, while I was doing that, whatever sheetrock was here, drywall, fell. And then this old drywall is here. So, yeah, which is a mixture of plaster with cement. I see there's some wood particles there. Oh, I was planning on removing this, but maybe that's not advisable since it's packed in with wood. I don't know, it's just so gross when there's old stuff here. It's not completely falling apart, but obviously the edging did. So I'll have to clean it up in some way. Maybe I'll use my multi-tool and just at least straighten it out over here, and then put a new piece of plaster under it. So this is what I did with the other side. I used leftover IKEA paneling. I cut it to size and filled in the gap because my gap is like 1.5 inches thick. So now I have about 1 inch thick, and I got the thickest 5/8 drywall, and I already cut it. I just didn't want to install it until this piece was gone. And also I wanted to, whatever sanding that I needed to do over here, I wanted to get it done before the drywall was installed. So I wanted to get that done. I'm still debating whether I should remove the railing. It's an added expense for me to replace it. Maybe I'll do it some other time. This thing seriously bothers me, that there's a lip over here. That really bothers me. I don't think I can remove that piece of wood and cut it like 1/4 inch. I don't know. I don't have like a table saw that would do that. And then of course this piece of wood is instead of being completely flush, there is like a little lip, which I don't like. So, but fixing that would only be if I remove the whole railing. I could do Bondo or like a wood filler over here, like some sort of thick covering. But then it would be, you know, like if I wanted to be flush with this, that could be doable. However, it could not be flush with this because then it would be too thick. So it's just weird. So the next step is the wood filler on the stairs. You could see me, I use the vacuum. So I just got a wet cloth just to wipe up any excess debris. The stairs did get, you know, I see now that because it's so dusty from all the stuff that I'm doing, I can actually see that there's more holes and indentations in the floor. There's scrapes on the floor because we've never covered the floor. And this is like some sort of porous wood that takes on all kinds of scrapes. And look, there's like this big piece of damage here. It's always been there. I just, you know, ignored it. Anyway. Okay, I just wiped over the dust. But anyway, so that's the idea. So I'm going to do the wood filler. I'll do a little video with the wood filler. And then we'll wait for it to dry. And then I'll sand it off and see if it comes out smooth. Okay, guys. So this is the day after I put the wood filler. And I put the wood filler in all of the steps and all of the treads, as well as the stringers. So I don't know if you can see it's all bumpy, because this is an unsanded piece of stringer. Here's a nice little bumpy chunk. So you can see that. It's really hard to come through with the camera. But you see how it's bumpy, all bumpy. Well, this one's not so bad. Almost a nice finish, not so bad. But anyway, so this is undone. Oh, that's a good one. Because that's really, so basically there's a piece of wood here, and this is the stringer. So what I did was I leveled them off, and there's about a nice centimeter, like 1/8 of an inch of wood filler right there. So, but once it's all sanded down, it'll look like it is the stringer. So this is what it looks like sanded off. Sorry about the light, it's coming through the window, but this is what it looks like sanded off. But so this was the first try of the wood filler. I do think I need like a touch up over there. There's a hole. There is some areas where I can see like that. There's a crack over there. Oh, and there's definitely a hole over here. So that's probably because there's too much space there. So the steps, I used the hand sander. That was the easiest and malleable to work around. I think I need to do this more because look at it, it's all bumpy. This was the easiest to work around the sides with the hand sander. For the steps, the reason why I put it all over the steps is because I spoke to my contractor friend and I told him that I have a lot of holes in my steps. There's a lot of indentations. So you can see all of these are little nicks that the compound, the wood filler, is filling in. All the little white dots. So it's not just dust. It's filling in holes. So here, this is a great example. So it's filling in holes everywhere, and scratches too as well. So I tried to sand this off with the hand sander, and that was not a good thing. So I'm gonna try the square sander, the machine, and that should, you know, bring this down a little bit. I don't want to sand too much, so I'm going to start with a 120 grit. This was a 120 grit. So I think I'm going to do 120 grit all along the sides and keep going down, even though it's not like completely perfect here. It looks worse than it is in the picture. But anyway, it still looks a huge improvement compared to what it was before, because the entire stringers were just nasty. There was holes and cracks. I think like this piece is actually 2 pieces of wood. Over here, like there was two separate pieces of wood. You could see that. So it's definitely looking like an improvement. I know it doesn't look like it, but it is an improvement. I hope I didn't mess up my stairs, the treads. But if that's the case, then that's the case, you know. Maybe I'll just cover it up with the carpet or something if I really mess it up. But I'm going to try to sand it off and then eventually stain it. So I'll keep you informed. So this is the square sander. And it is working significantly better with the square sander to sand off the steps. So I already did this one, and I'll probably do it again. This is a 60 or 80 grit, I'm not sure. But look, so you can see this is what I was talking about. So these are all indentations in the step. And so what I needed to do was just remove the excess. All of this extra lumpy. Oh, look at that, there's a hole. So you see, that's why I need to go back after I've sanded to touch up where there's still holes and things that need to be done. But just so you can see, here's the sander. I'll mute the sound. But you see now, this is a flat surface. Doesn't look it because you see all these dots and scratches. But this is what happens when you have, I think it's the red oak that you buy from Home Depot. This is, it gets indentations very easily. You really couldn't have seen it when it was fully stained, all of these spots, but this is a good time to do it now since I'm redoing the steps. And I am staining it black, so hopefully it'll look nice and it's not gonna look all spotty. But yeah, that's the idea. Okay, so this is a very dusty business. So I finished sanding the stairs. I did not finish sanding the sides. I did try to use the square sander on the sides, but it's very hard to control, and I didn't want it to ruin everything that I worked so hard on to make it like straight and perfect. So I'd rather use, I will try the multi-tool with the triangle sander so I can get into the corners and stuff. I did notice, besides that little hole over there, that while I was standing over the steps, that there were, okay, this is actually fine, but here we go. There are cracks between the tread and the riser that I did not see last night because I did this at nighttime with just the head, with the light overhead, and I wasn't standing this way over it. This is a new step, so I did put filler. See how nicely that came out? I did put filler over here to fill in the cracks. There was lots of cracks over here, over there in that corner, and over here. So that really doesn't even show because I did a job over there. Over here, I did some over here, but I did not notice that there's more cracks over here. So since I don't want to spackle it and try to force it in there, what I'm gonna do is, since I'm a woman and I have used some cooking devices, I'm gonna put the wood filler in a bag. See, look, there's gaps. You can't see it with the naked eye, but if you're standing above it, like I am right now, which I was doing when I was sanding, you can see the holes over here. Oh, look, you can see the holes over there too with the camera. All right. So see, there's no holes over here. There's no gaps. That's not a gap. This is actually filled with previous caulking, and it's fine. There's no actual gaps, but there are gaps in some of the stairs. So that will have to be addressed. So I'm gonna put it in a wood filler. I'm gonna put some in a bag, and I'm gonna pipe it in like caulking. And I don't tell me to use wood caulking. I also used like just a regular cloth glove while I was handling everything because it is extremely sandy and my hands are getting extremely, extremely dry. You are supposed to use a mask, but I can't breathe with the mask. I know it's supposed to help me breathe, but I can't. It's also a very hot day. This is the summertime in Brooklyn. And on top of it, you're supposed to wear glasses. But if I wore glasses, what would I do with my real glasses? The ones that actually help me see. So I would not be able to see because I need reading glasses to get into all these nooks and crannies to see everything. So look at that gigantic gap. I'm so upset with myself that I didn't see this last night because now I have. So my next step is cleaning all of this dust. And then I am going to sand the sides first. Clean that again. I know, double work. But the thing is, with all of this dust in the first place, I can't really see what I'm doing. I need to work with a clean surface, just like a kitchen. It needs to be clean to cook. Can't cook in a dirty kitchen, by the way. That's advice from Auntie Yona. Okay. Okay, so I'm sanding my stairs, and these are the stringers. That's what the side is called. And so you can see that I wiped down. I need to put a filler there. So I wiped down any excess wood filler that was on the treads. And while I was doing that, I realized that because the towel is wet, it actually wipes away some of the wood filler. So this is an amazing hack. So I needed to sand these side stringers. I needed to take out my multi-tool, which is my triangle sander, so I can get in all nooks and crannies. But what I decided to do is just rub against it with the towel. And as you can see, this is an amazing hack because basically all of that, you press gently with your fingers and nails into the corners, and so you can rub. You can see that line. See the line? There was a line right here. It's still slightly there, but you just keep rubbing until it's flat. And that is similar to sanding, and it's getting rid of all of the extra. So here's another line. See that? And you just rub against it. I might need to put more sanding. This is my first time sanding after wood filler on the stringers, because I do want it to be like boxy. But you could see that I'm getting rid of all of the bumps and dents that is right there. The whole purpose is to get this flat so that it can be painted and it can have a flat finish. So this was all bumpy before, so you see the bottom part still very, very bumpy. And I'm just going to rub gently with this wet towel. I'm putting slight pressure where the bumps are, and you can see that there's still some holes here. I might have to go back and refill some areas, like the corner over here. I need to redo that because once it's painted, it will show up. I think it will show up. I don't know, but I'm a perfectionist and I really don't want... The whole purpose of this project was to get everything nice and smooth, but you could see that I'm like really rubbing there, and now look how smooth it is. This is like the best hack in the universe. On top of it, the wet towel is absorbing the excess wood filler, so I'm not creating more dirt. And I don't know what this red dot is. You would think I bled somewhere, but I did not, so I have no idea where that red dot is coming from. But anyway, here's another one. Let's do it again. See how quickly the bumpy wood filler is now smooth. You don't want to push too much because you don't want to remove the wood filler. You just want to smooth it out. That's the whole purpose of sanding, is to smooth it out. So, you know, over here there's a strong line, so it looks like I might need to fill that. I don't know. I'm going to keep rubbing and seeing if just rubbing it will make that line disappear and make it flush. The whole point is to make everything flush so that when I do paint it, when I do paint the stringers, it'll be nice and smooth. So before we started, everything was nasty. Everything was bumpy, circles of paint, and it was just awful. So I just want to get this surface smooth so that I can come back, prime it, and paint it. So you see there's still some bumps, but this is the first round of wood filler. But this is a hell of a lot better than sanding because the towel is absorbing most of the excess sand. It's smoothing out the lines without adding pressure. It's just a towel. That's all it is. Look at that. There was a whole bunch of lines right there originally. Wow, so cool. And now I can clearly see where I need to touch it up. And this is where I started actually. And this is where I figured it out because I was cleaning at the bottom of the step. And I had come to realize, oh, I'm wiping some of the excess wood filler. Look at that. This is just an awesome hack. Honestly, this was already rubbed off, and look, rubbing off a little bit of a second time after it's all nice and dry. Look at that. So this side needs to be done. Oh, I love it. It's so fantastic. Anyway, I hope that helps somebody. It certainly helped me.
I didn't edit this video because I wanted you to see how I just fell from one step to the next step. If you've watched any part of this video, even halfway through, I appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. I will post a part 2 where I have the finished product.